this podcast.
Welcome once again to Lumen Sessions. On this podcast, we have conversations with amazing people who have contributed immensely in various aspects of community, specifically music, tech, business, faith, lifestyle, and also all other issues bordering on current affairs. Today, we have a very skilled and talented man. Yeah, I mean, he wears several hats and so blessed in many ways. We want to hear from him on how he's developed and honed his craft as a musician and a pastor to the level he operates now, and also discuss a number of industry issues. I mean, he is very conversant with. We have in the studios Reverend Samuel Akresi. What's up? Welcome.
Bye. Thank you very much.
So, tell us, what do you do? what
I think you already mentioned. Okay, so I like to define from first. I'm a husband of but one wife.
Wow,
that's very, very important. Father, like you mentioned, I'm a pastor. I also do music business, music sale business. So direction, production, all of that. So many things in there, but at least the first three.
Multi-talented, multi-skilled. But did you always want to be a musician, or you started with, other things in mind? Do you always want to be a pastor and all of that?
I think it's a yes for both questions,
Okay.
Because music apparently started early for me. It was much later that I learned that my dad even played the guitar at some point in church. I didn't know that aspect. Yeah, it was much later they discussed that. But beyond my dad playing,
Yes,
my mom had sung for 8 months, not like singing, but on mission field for 8 months when she was pregnant with me.
Wow.
It was only in the 9th month that she stayed at home. So,
no, wait, 8 out of the 9 months your mom carried you.
Yeah.
She was playing gigs, so to speak.
So from one mission field to the other,
Wow.
one village to the other doing. So for 8 months, she did that. And so I heard a lot of that growing up. And that's how it started for me. So at a very early age, I was very fascinated about so many things with music. And then it took off from there.
But we want to know, so knowing that, of course, from before your birth, your mom, so we can say that subconsciously, there was that transfer and all of that. How did you, was there any environment that built you up, so to speak, for what you are doing today? And did they start from childhood?
Yeah, it did. So once the discovery was there, what to do. The first time I attempted learning an instrument was quite at an early age. So there was somebody in church, Mr. Piadonko, who had a keyboard at home. So, and I was so much, we used to live together within the same year. So, and oftentimes, because my dad would be away sometimes, I would be with him, you were teaching one thing or the other. So we're picking, and he was directing one group at the time in church.
Wow.
One of the singing groups in church at the time. So we started from there. Then I very much remember the first time I was asked to do a solo in church. I was about 5 years.
5 years.
And then, and what I remember was, as at that time, I used to lead praise and worship.
Okay.
For the children's ministry. So after one praise and worship session, they said I should do a solo. And frankly, I didn't understand it. Like, what's a solo? Yeah. And they're like, oh, you have to sing a song alone, that kind of thing. I said, okay. So we ended up doing that. And after that episode, they decided there had been a children's choir started some time back. It didn't really take off. Then they started a choir. And in that choir, a lot of the grooming started from there. Okay. So at that point, I had a very amazing music director. We call them MDs today, but and it was a lady. Oh. So she at the time was a member of New Creation.
Okay.
For those who grew up in Kumasi,
Yeah.
New Creation is the sister group for Joyful Way in Kumasi.
Oh.
So when Joyful Way started, and then some of them moved to Kumasi because of work and stuff,
Yes.
they started another group in Kumasi called New Creation. And she was a member of New Creation, one of their lead singers, a very nice soprano. And so she handled the choir. And she gave us, the room to operate and all of that. And right from that age, I would say that God had blessed us with something, because a lot of it was not too much of they will teach you to do this. A lot of it was, okay, can you do this?
Okay.
And then you end up doing it.
Yeah.
So for example, if I needed to do a solo, they will send it cassettes.
Yes.
Gen Z's have
The
no
days of
idea.
cassettes.
Yeah, they'll send a cassette through my dad, and then they'll bring it home. So I would learn and go back and reproduce.
Wow.
Whereas there were those they would have to call, tutor to.
Yes, to
learn.
be able
For
to,
me, it was send
you're
it to him.
already a step ahead, so you
Send it to him.
you could listen and
He will listen
reproduce.
and reproduce, and then it started from there. Then when she realized I had the ability to do that, she actually handed over the choir to me in terms of rehearsal. Apart from learning new songs.
Yeah.
So when we had rehearsal, when we have to go through all of our old songs, I had to lead the choir to do that.
Wow.
That's where directing started
for you.
For
that,
me.
That young, you were already directing.
That's where it started for me. So like from about 8 through to the time I would leave the children's service, we would go for rehearsal almost every Sunday. Or when it's getting close to Children's Day or Children's Harvest or those things, we'll have rehearsal. So when we have to learn a new song, she'll come and teach. When it's an older song, I have to just run through it with the rest of the children.
Oh, wow. So, but beyond that, did you break somewhere, or it still flow through? Doing music, growing up, adolescence, and all of that.
I don't think there was a break. Break was in terms of the number of things I was doing.
Okay.
So at a certain point, I had so I'm doing church, I'm doing things outside of church and stuff like that. At a certain point, I had to pause everything I was doing outside of church because my parents wanted, my dad especially, actually, you're going out too much, all of those things. So we had to, for a period of about 2 years, I wasn't doing anything outside church, but I was still actively in church doing the music. So there was no break of a sort. Because at home, like apart from getting music to learn, my dad himself would buy the cassettes and all of that. So you will listen. Growing up, you are listening to Estanyamiche, you are listening to Reverend Yabs, you are listening to all of Reverend Yosin and all of that. So you have the tapes at home, you are learning.
Okay, so from that time, you already had artists that were shaping your
very
music.
very much. So even foreign acts. So I didn't start doing integrity until much later, but we even had people like Jim Reeves that you listen to. And, Jim Reeves was very different.
Yes.
Like baritone, low stuff you are listening to. Whereas you are having the local stuff. A lot of it, he did a lot of local tapes. So you have a lot of that. Then a little bit of Southern gospel, so guitar and all of those things. Yes. There were bits and pieces of those you would have at home, and they will play. Today we have too many options. Those days it was Radio Ghana. So
once you miss the moment,
that's it. So if it wasn't on Radio Ghana, we would be playing something else.
You just hope to chance on the cassette in town, and then you purchase it to play at home,
and then you play it at home. So it was like that for us.
Today's generation don't know side A and side B.
No. So you have to play side A. Will have usually an album would have like four songs on side A and 4 songs on side B. A few times you would have 5. Yeah. And then for most of the local ones, like you remember when you had 4 songs, when you had 10 tracks, 2 of them were instrumentals. Yes. They called instrumentals. Yeah. So some of them were -1 or minus all the vocals.
and when the tape got broken or something, you had to get.
You have to mend it.
Yeah, I remember we used to do milk bush. Was it? Yeah, put it
you have
on
to
and then
mend
put it
it
together, mend
put
it,
it
and
together,
then
and then
put
get
it
it
back in
back
the
new.
cassette player, and it plays.
He'll play.
Sometimes when you're not fortunate, I mean,
You have skipped.
yeah,
If you don't
miss
mend
some
properly,
elements,
you have made some elements. So
in it.
So those were, I mean, those were the processes we went through. But there was no break in terms of the music. Like I said, we did it till secondary school. So the break from outside jam was somewhere within secondary school towards university.
Okay.
I had then joined Voice of the Spirit in Kumasi.
Okay.
This was actually through secondary school. So
what secondary school?
I went to Bukwari school.
Bukwari school.
Yeah.
I'm a proud.
Yeah. I'm a proud Kutechi. So in Bukwari school, my assistant music director at the time invited me to Voice of the Spirit rehearsal. So it was at Voice of the Spirit I get to meet Atabuafo, I get to meet Akese Brimpon, I get to meet Prince Worship, I get to meet Prince Tufor, and
can you hear the list at all?
And so those are and we're all together in that. So you can imagine that place was like an amazing journey. I think the other time I was showing you one of the guys, Abel Nyamiche, who is now pastoring in the US. I mean, talented guys. Bruce is now with multi-choice. Talented guys you are working with every time. So you get to rehearsal and it's like, guy,
everyone is ready.
Everyone is ready.
Wow.
You had no space to.
And this was high school.
Yeah, this was high school level. And everyone was ready. And give us any gig at the time and we'll do it. Like we'll just do it. So that was it. Then at a point, my dad is like, oh, the guy's going out too much. We're even recording. So I have to steal myself into recordings. I remember there was a time where we were recording with Kwame Kumasi.
Studio sessions.
Yeah, studio sessions. And then
Kwame Nkrumah, the very Kwame Nkrumah.
The very Kwame Nkrumah. Wow. Yes. So we're in Bokrum, I'll never forget. And we leave ourselves interested. So you need to time yourself. Like by this time, my dad is returning home. So wherever we are in the recording, you have to leave so that you can get home on time. So that it doesn't look like you were out of the house.
They're not playing ball. Or I mean,
they're not playing ball. No.
Some girls somewhere recording.
Yeah.
You see, I mean, I think this generation is just different because even recording in the studio, you should know when your dad will be home.
Yeah.
And make sure you are there before he gets there. Otherwise, it's trouble for you.
Yeah.
And you dare not let him find out you are recording in the studio.
Like, so he doesn't even know you are recording.
Yes.
You are there. He doesn't even know. So you have to be home early enough so he doesn't know that you were out, let alone know where you were. And that's how it was for us growing
Then
up.
from high school,
we went to KNUST. So in KNUST, interesting story. So before going to KNUST, Voice of the Spirit had interactions with Gospel Explosion.
There was a guy coming.
Not just a guy. We had some retreat sessions with them. So at a point, I had met at the time Graciela, the president of Explo and all of that. They came to us. We had a number of sessions. So in my mind, I'm going to Tech. I'm going to Explo. Like it's a done deal. So I go to Tech and first Sunday service. So I was raised Presbyterian. So I go to PMSU service. Then I see the choir singing. And I'm like, what? Like in my mind, I thought that, well, the proper choir on campus was Explo.
Yeah.
Because we are head of Explo. We've heard of the recordings. And this was just around when pop choir had recorded. So I went to school just after Revenue they had done the Onoa album and they had left. So I go and I see the choir ministry and it's amazing. They are choreographing well, they are singing well. And then I am torn. I'm like, do I join Explo or do I join pop choir?
Church pop
So it took me 1 month on campus and I'm just walking around. I remember those times. Akese joined Explo quite early. Then I mean, we'll go and pass to rehearsal. I'll sit there. Then eventually I said, no, I think I can't be coming to church every Sunday and not do this. Of course, Explo had every week Friday service to do, but
Yes.
I said, okay, let me do this. So I joined Popcorn, and then first year we had we used to have this process we call stay. So every choir, mostly pop choir and Explo.
Yes.
So pop choir used to have Hallelujah Festo.
Okay.
And Explo will have Explo Nights of Joy.
So over the vacation, you have to
Over
stay
the vacation,
through rehearsal and
we usually would do before school reopens.
Okay.
So if school is reopening, we will come like 2 weeks before or after school. We'll stay 2 weeks before, and then we will rehearse. And during those rehearsals, I remember I had so much learned a certain song. It was One Anna, New Kind's One Anna, and then the New Kind Praise Medley. Yeah. So One Anna, a number of people were trying. Like MD says, people should try. And at the time, David Osabote is at AMD. No, first year was Niado. Okay. So Niado, I don't know whether he's still the president of New York Ministries, but Niado was MD at the time.
Wow.
And we are doing a New Kind song. And a number of people are trying. I mean, Bute is not trying. So at the time, it wasn't Harbour City. It was the Orthodox Youth Choir. Yeah. It was Toy.
Yes.
And the guys in Toy are not trying the song. Like, they want somebody else.
They are the town guys.
Yeah. They want somebody else. So I guess I'll go for it. I'll sit in front. Andy and myself. We used to trouble MDs a lot. So we'll sit in front, giggle and do all that. Yeah. Then I just raise my hand and I try the song. When I tried the song, somehow I knew that I'm going to do the song. But they didn't tell me I'm doing the song. Yeah. Like, but after...
It shouldn't be obvious. You are a first year.
I'm a first year boy. Like, what's this?
you need to go through process.
Yeah. So after doing the song, I remember meeting one final year student during the vacation, and he's like, oh, he was actually thinking I was in third year of final year. Because I've come and then I'm in the choir, and it's like, Charlie, they pass you the slot. We're going to minister in a church, in a Methodist church close to campus. So we get there, and AMD writes a note. I mean, it's not today that everybody has a phone. I mean, AMD writes a note and passes it to me. You. I hope you know you're leading the song with me.
Just like that.
Just like that. So we get to do that. Then I was away. I went home a particular weekend. So when I came back, Andy, I mean, Andy sits with me every time. We are making noise at rehearsal and stuff. Then he rushes to my room. Charlie, they give me a phone. Like, what's up? Say, oh, you just been named as a frontliner for Harley first. I'm like, oh,
that's a promotion.
Calm down. And if you understand the process, so there's a choir of close to 200 people. And so to make significant inroads at that time was
that short.
That short period. So he's like, oh, Charlie, you have been named as one of the frontliners. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So I come next rehearsal, and he's like, yeah, frontliners rehearsal. And, so of course, we grew up in the system where like in Voice of the Spirit, for instance, we know who is who.
Okay.
But beyond that, we know that, okay, there's no separate frontline rehearsal.
Okay.
There is a choir rehearsal.
Yes.
Then because we trust this one and that one, if we have to put somebody at the mic, we put this one on the mic. Yeah. At the time, that's the process. Yeah. But here we are and say there's frontliners rehearsal. So the choir rehearse.
Yes.
But frontliners too will go and see MD. I remember my longest singing period was one of those sessions. So we did frontliners rehearsal with MD for like 2 hours in his room. Came for the main choir rehearsal, which was close to 3 hours.
But by then you are already way ahead. I mean, because you are the ones bearing the mic. Some groups actually call them mic bearers.
So you will come. We've gone for MD. We come for rehearsal. Then after rehearsal, they said there's audition. So these auditions were for lead vocals for various songs. Yeah. And because it's for the concert, they will try each song. And frontliners have to back everybody who is attempting each song.
Wow.
So from 8 a.m. in the morning till about 8 p.m. that evening, it was back-to-back singing.
One day?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what everyone needs to know. I mean, for those of us who have been or followed that journey from way back, okay, if you were talking university music, KNUST is like, I'm going to get bashed for this, but truth is truth. KNUST is like the yardstick. They set the pace, and you were doing 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
as frontliners.
Yeah, you've done it. You've been to MD's room Saturday morning. You've done rehearsal. Choir rehearsal is at 11. So you've done 8 to like 10:30 in MD's room. Then you come to choir rehearsal. Then the choir from 11 to like 2 p.m. Then from there, we've gone to the Great Hall basement to go and do frontliners. So the band has set up. Then you guys are sitting down, frontliners, and lead vocals are coming. So everybody comes to try. So if you have a song that many people want to try, you're in trouble because you keep singing and singing. And
meme for church choirs.
And the whole idea was they want to give everybody the best of experience so that they can express themselves.
Exactly.
And so they'll do that. And there's a panel. Oftentimes, that panel would not be members of the choir.
Okay.
Or so at the time, I remember Baby Tay was there. I mean, D4C, if you remember.
Yeah.
And all of that. So those guys come and sit down and then audition you for who is singing what. And so to go through that. And these were like, it changed my perspective. For example, it was on Tech Campus, I come for a rehearsal. I mean, we are doing contemporary music. We didn't need scripts, like in my mind. We listen.
Yeah.
We listen. We come and sing the thing.
Because your background was a bit different.
Yeah. So I'll see the choral guys do that. I had the opportunity of doing both in church. So at a certain point in church, I'm doing both. I'm the first service, I'm doing choral music, second service, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to do both. But on Tech Campus, I come for a rehearsal, and then he comes with a script. He has a nice file. He pulls the script, and he scored the song.
Yeah, it's written.
He's written his tonic so far, and he's teaching from the script. I'm like, hey,
what's going on here?
What's going on here? So it was like that. When I saw that for the first time, I was like, oh, wow. So I had to start to learn how to score on that level. Because for our scoring was in your mind. You have listened, you reproduce it. But now you are seeing the MD score.
There's a document that's more like a blueprint for everybody who comes around.
And I realized you can't go wrong with that because you know that at this point, you have to sing a 4 or a 5 year. There is no way somebody says something else. The moment somebody says, I don't know, guys, you went away from this. So it really helped me at that point.
Wow.
Of course, I mean, I wouldn't go through that same process today, but that was a very, very important learning curve for me.
But what other, influences came from your time in KNUST? I will just mention one later. I mean, when you had left, but beyond now getting to see how contemporary music was tackled and the rigors of being in the front line or a song leader or all of that, what else happened on campus?
So here's one of the things. When we went to school, I think we still had a very good connection with those who had left.
Okay.
So when I went to first year,
yes,
Koda had left, Neokai had left. I mean, a couple of those guys had left. Henry them. But we still had relationships with them. They would come back to campus, we'll call them in to come and do one thing or the other. And they had recorded, that project had recorded before this. So there was the Explore album, there was the Pop album. So around that time too, then Eugene and then UCC were recording all of that. So you had all of those things around you, and it's like more like some holy grails for you to look up to. So every now and then you are looking up to what is Daninete recording, what is somebody doing, what is this one doing there. So much so that for me, I began to develop a bias for local music. Not just because I thought they were good enough, but I felt like, okay, here we are. People are producing good enough.
Yes.
I mean, I had a senior course mate. He's also into ministry now, Josh Spratt, the guitarist.
Yes, Josh Spratt.
So Spratt was my senior course mate.
Oh.
Smart guy. But there was no day he's not playing his guitar. And interestingly, his room was above my room in first year. And they are playing guitar every day, like every day. Every day the guys are playing. And And you see all of these things. You'd find there were even people on campus doing great music, but
Yes.
not even. And these guys were like Senior Afre. A lot of
Okay,
people don't know Afre Junior's senior brother.
Yeah.
So
Pianist.
solid pianist,
Yeah.
solid musician. This is the guy who would handle his front of house mix on stage and be playing his piano and still be doing everything. And all of these guys were around. So for me, when I looked at that environment, yes, you would go and listen to a Ron Connolly at the time. You go and listen to a Marvin Sapp at the time. You'd go and listen to a Darren Hobbs at the time.
But
No
just
two ways
around
about
you.
it. But just around
Yeah,
you,
great talents.
there were great talents. And that if you just concentrated on that, you had too much to learn.
Go far.
You had too much to learn.
Wow.
That was it for us.
Events on campus.
Oh, many. So
And inter-campus, stuff.
yeah. So we like I mentioned, Exlo had Exlo Night of Joy.
Yes.
Pop had Hallel Festo. Like my first Hallel Festo, we're doing 40 tracks. Okay. So you have 40 songs that MDs have put together. Yeah. And you're going to do 2 packages. And you're going to do back to back. And there is no teleprompter. There are no projectors were for the audience.
The audience, yes, because most of them, they were not, they were new to those songs. Yeah.
Projectors were for audience, but there's no, so 40 songs, they have printed for you. You have learned everything, Baba, literally. And you've gone through all of that. And so I remember, we'll meet and stay together. Exlo is staying, we are also staying. Yeah. Everybody's rehearsing, jumping up and down. And it's like that. Then all these programs were happening. Like I mentioned, when I was on campus, there was a group called Destined for Christ.
Yes.
D4C. And D4C was, I had the opportunity to minister with D4C like twice. It was, D4C was like the creme de la creme.
On campus.
Yes. Like creme.
After all these groups you have mentioned.
Yeah, like it's the creme de la creme. So the person directing D4C at the time had been an assistant masquerade director and a masquerade director. Then he was in medical school then.
Okay.
And his attention to detail. And he had been a pop choir director. So like
it's been through all it.
And you go and see the guy and like you don't try messing around with details rehearsal. You're in trouble. You go home. You either come. So we had all of these activities happening. For example, that was the first ticketed event I attended, a D4C concert.
On campus?
Yes. And they didn't even do it on Tech Campus. Like they held the event outside campus.
Outside campus.
And yet we bought tickets, got on buses on campus.
The value.
Yes. Bought buses. And to think of a ticketed program in Kumasi at the time was like unheard of.
Unheard of.
Every gospel event has to be free.
Yeah, obviously, it's the gospel.
It has to be free in Kumasi. So to go through that, and then we went through all of those. So you had all of these events that will happen. Then there was a big one. Everybody would prepare for Intellecto. Even though Intellecto, you are not doing so many songs at the time, but
everybody is coming.
Everybody's coming. So
from everywhere.
So you are putting masquerade. You are putting every little detail to Intellecto. Yes. And you want it. So my first Intellecto was in first year, which meant I knew at the time Intellecto happened KNUST, UCC, Legon, in that circle. Yeah. So once we had it in first year, I knew I was going to see it again in final year. And I happened to be MD by the time I was in final year. So
unless you were part of the masquerade and you would go to the other hosting
campus. So we had to host Intellecto when I was in final year. But Intellecto was that important activity. It's sad all that it's going to do. That's a discussion for another day. So we can have that discussion. But we had all of these experiences and it shaped the kind of productions we had. It shaped how we approached the music and it shaped many things. So that the era of Atani, of Pasazuta, of Akese Brempong, it was Jumeto came in quite later through Central, and but all of that was so much influenced by what was happening through Intellectu.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was amazing.
Oh,
It's amazing.
Intellectu. It's surely coming back. Wow. So this does this explain why some people jokingly call you senior minister? Because I mean, you were. Should we say you were at the right place at the right time, more like it, or several events happened around you and you were part of them all?
I think that God blessed us to be around many things at various times, and we by God's grace were able to impact and impart. So that amounts to it. I mean, for example, like I said, do you know that my first intellectual I didn't sing?
Okay.
In first year, my very first intellectual, I did not sing.
I know there was that thing where, I mean, some people, no matter how good you are or whatever, you probably were part of the mass choir and all of that, but you'll be assigned other roles.
For me, it wasn't that.
Okay.
So I deliberately did not sing.
Okay.
So here's the backstory. I didn't have money for the uniform.
Okay.
And I didn't talk to anybody about it, including MD. So the guy was looking for me. It's like, where have you been? So what happened? I remember we had done an audition, vocal audition, before full mass choir rehearsal started. This audition had Jesse Jokuto, Jebi Jokuto, and no, BT was not there. I think Ezekiel and some other guys. And then you need to audition and be put in your right part. And you have a range to sing. And I'm like, oh, Charlie, you're a sharp tenor. That's good. And MD's looking at me, and he was then the MD for BSU at the time. Okay. And so, so he's actually looking out for me. And I remember front line at the time included Ebenezer Kwesi, a couple of the Joyful Way guys, so Ebenezer Kwesi, Kobe, and Calves, and stuff like that. So the guy is looking for me, and he can't find me. Like, where is this guy? But he sees me, like, intellectual period, and I'm like, oh, I didn't pay for the uniform. He said, why didn't you tell me? Like, this is not.
It's all about money.
Well,
we have sorted you out.
Would have sorted it out. But I mean, I was in every space. Like, I did what I had to do, meeting people, helping out with people where people would sleep and all of that. We did every one of those. And to be frank, I never thought of becoming an MD. Because not many times did you have an MD who was not out and musician, like an instrumental. The vocalist, oftentimes
9 out of 10 keyboardists.
9 out of 10, they are keyboardists, they are bassists or something else. And the vocalists were oftentimes assistant MDs. Yes. Flipped during my time. I'm MD. My AMD is a keyboardist.
Oh.
Yeah. And it just flipped. And like you say, it's not really because we took some things seriously, and so it paid off by the time you're in a certain space. Yeah. Because I'd become head of praise and worship. Okay. So I took over from Pastor Edwin. That's him.
I hope you are hearing the news.
Took over from Pastor Edwin. That's him.
Senior minister for nothing.
So Pastor Edwin hands over to me, and I mean, he was leaving then. I mean, when I went to first year, I didn't know Pastor Edwin. I thought Pastor Edwin was a T because I saw him at Explo the year before I went to first year. Like, we went to Explo night. We ran from the house to let's like craft if you see a call all night. That's the whole vibe. And then we show up, and then Pastor Edwin the whole choir is there, and Pastor Edwin is in some nice vest, and he's like, so I'm thinking, who is this guy? And he's doing orations and singing. So he was literally like, and at the time, I've watched a few videos of Potter's House Mass choir and stuff, and I'm seeing like Pastor Edwin is there like the Bishop Jakes,
doing the exact same thing.
Doing the things. So in my mind, that guy is probably in final years. He's left. I go to see the guy is there. What is this guy doing? He's there. Apparently, he was in second year
Whoa.
at the time.
And he climbed up that fast.
Yes.
By second year, he was already
he
leading during operations.
He was doing everything. He was in second year. So by the time he was praise and worship for SEC, and then he handed over to me. So in third year. So I took over as SEC praise and worship head in third year, then became masquerade director in final year. And that's how it worked. So God is, for me, it says preparation, meeting, and opportunity. That's basically
Okay.
And no matter how big the opportunity is, I think if you're not prepared for it, when it comes, it will skip you to somebody else. And it wasn't too difficult for anybody to accept the fact that I am becoming an MD.
Yeah.
Because they could tell what you could do. They could see what you could do.
They were part of the journey, seeing it.
You see.
Now, today we see you directing in I would put it in three settings now. Of first as a music pastor, music director at church, and then we have the groups, bands, worship bands, and then we also have the artistry. So as an artist, as an MD in a band or a music group, a music team, and then as an MD at church, how do you get things done in these three capacities?
So technically it's all one and the same.
Okay.
For me, when I have to work on a project for myself, I'm having conversations with whoever is producing, whoever is working on whatever. There are songs that they have only implemented everything that's in my head or what I have envisaged.
Yes.
Like you have literally had to implement that. But beyond that, it's an interesting space to play in because you get to work with different aspects. So when you are the artist, you are having to follow direction.
Okay.
You are having to have somebody tell you that don't do this or do that. Then when you wear the cap of the MD, you are telling the people to do that.
Yeah.
And they know in church, like they just have to look at my face and know that this is well or it's not. We don't have too many conversations about whether it was good or not. You just need to look at my face when you are doing the thing and you know that in fact or it's not working. So we marry those. But one of the things, like I said, going through it as a child, going through it on campus, shaped how we should approach this thing.
Okay.
So there's always a very, like, for example, in final year, after the incident I had with uniform, there's a young lady that came who didn't have money for uniform. She came to talk to me about it as her MD. Like, she's been coming for rehearsal. She's a soprano. She's on the phone line.
She has every right to sing.
She has every right. And she doesn't have money to pay for the uniform. And I very much remember we were raising some money for some other things.
Okay.
Then at the time, Dot is my financial secretary. The wife, she's married to Pastor Setakwa.
Wow.
So I call her and I, Dot, please, just give her money to go and pay the thing. Because I could very much remember the fact that I didn't sing because I couldn't pay.
Yeah.
So I need to understand where somebody else is coming from in that situation. It gives you that face. Sometimes I see people do things at rehearsals and I feel like you are not appreciating the fact that you are dealing with human beings. No matter what it is, it's human beings. And in church music, I keep saying, we are not paying the people to show up to come and do it.
Exactly.
So if it's a band, I don't mind. If it's a paid for session, I don't mind. You mess up, you are gone.
We don't find many of those as well, especially if we are in a group. I mean, it's collective. Everybody volunteers.
So if it's a paid session, I mean, I've sacked people 2 weeks, 1 week to a paid gig before. I don't mind doing that. Because that one is paid. And you are not showing up at rehearsal like you are doing this. That one, I can just call it, oh, Charlie, that's it. Call somebody else to come and do it. And the person will learn, they'll come and do it. I've called somebody a week to a gig to come and to learn 8 songs and come and play.
Delivered.
And he will deliver.
Yeah.
So that's not a problem. But in church, the nuances are different. There's a mother, there's a father, there's an uncle, there's somebody dealing with something that this week I'm having a conversation with somebody. She's bedridden, not because of anything. She's just pregnant. She has to stay. She has to sleep. Let her sleep. Let's not make it look like the world will come to an end. No. But sometimes I think people are because of what we want to deliver. Yes, we think that everybody should be available in the space. For me, it's never worked like that.
Okay.
It's always worked with, because I've seen different phases of this thing.
Yes.
I have seen when I need to know which cap to wear.
Malleable. Yeah.
I need to be malleable enough to be able to say, okay, at this point, this guy, at that point, that guy, and at this point. So it works. You are heading the team. You need to you're ensuring that the music is right, but ultimately you're ensuring that we are doing it right in the eyes of God. Ultimately, that works. That's very important for me. You are doing it as an artist. What is the direction that God wants you to go? Because I listen to productions and I know that, this portion of it, and because we have done this for so long, we can just sit down and I'm watching and I can tell you that this one was part of the rehearsal.
Okay.
This was not part. And invariably, when you get the backstory to it, it makes sense because we have seen it many times. To be able to tell that this is the process. The process works this way, and I think that a lot of us take that for granted. Like, for example, for me in church, we rehearse everything.
Everything.
Yeah, we rehearse everything. I oftentimes don't want surprises. The reason I don't want surprises is, of course, you may not have every talent that you so desire and want.
Yeah.
So you don't want a situation where you put somebody on the spot to do something you didn't know, and stuff like that. So I'm looking at this guy. So every tomorrow rehearsal, song list is sent.
Okay.
We have looked at it.
Yeah.
Like last week, they sent the song list. I tell them, drop that song. For which reason? I have to explain why I'm dropping this. Okay. So the person will have to change the song.
Okay.
We go through that process. We rehearse the song. We show up. We produce it. In some other places, you are not rehearsing. Okay. But we must have an idea of what you want to do.
Yeah.
Everybody play around it because most choir rehearsals is about the choir administration, not even our praise. For us,
praise and worship and all
we are
of
doing
that.
praise and worship, offering everything every singing we are doing.
It's
Sometimes
tiny
even
things.
including the songs the preacher will sing.
Yeah. You need to go through all
We
of
will
that.
go through all of that. If we have it, we will go through all of that. So that everybody is very comfortable. Doesn't mean we will not make room for anything we do.
Okay.
There are few times even in church we've played on stems, but even that we'll make room for
all the other nuances.
everything. So that, if somebody wanted to still stay on a song, why not? Because God is leading us to stay there.
Yes.
So you understand all those nuances.
It's not like because you are preparing by rehearsal, everything has to be cast in stone.
No, it's not. It's not like that for me. It's not like it because in church praise and worship regular, for me, it's not a production.
Okay.
Even if it were, I see it as, okay, we need to approach it from, sometimes there's an element of the audience that feeds on us.
Yes.
We don't have that during rehearsal. You don't have the audience during rehearsal.
It's just the worship team.
It's just the team. So that element of the audience that feeds on you and that direction that you see and you hear God tell you about in the midst of the service, we will keep to that.
Okay.
So we would rehearse. We'll make room for all of that. I think that what the rehearsal helps you to do is, over time, then every song you have gone through, if somebody lifted it again, it becomes easier to just play around.
But music directing then and then now, are the structures and the fundamentals still the same, or there's been a sharp evolution?
I see a lot of people talk about technology. And it's interesting. So, like I said, I don't mind waking up and going to church and playing on a stem.
Okay.
Okay. And sadly, sometimes I see the technology rather than the production, like
Okay.
rather than the administration of it.
Yeah.
And so for me, I see that these days a lot of people are relying a lot more on my stem back is solid. That's
Okay.
solid. But I can play with a 3-man band and it will look like Charlie, everything was okay.
Yeah.
The music was intact. There was a lot of cohesion and everything. I don't need so much because everybody has learned the craft well.
Okay.
So I think where the challenge is that, for example, if you went into an architecture school, the only reason why they let you draw, the only reason why you go through that structure, even though in the work process you are going to use an AutoCAD or whatever it is is because you need to understand what is feeding the software.
Okay.
You need to understand what's feeding.
Building blocks.
Just need to understand that. And for me, that's where some people are just jumping the gun on many levels, especially for directing these days, because it's more like, okay, let's have this, let's have that, let's have this.
Okay.
Once we have ABC, we can cream it together.
Yeah.
Ebefa.
That's it.
But how about beyond that ABC?
Yes.
Which of you would have the tenacity to function without it?
Okay.
So there are people who now, if they were doing praise and worship and there was no loop set, it won't work.
You're stuck.
Yes, an element is missing for them. And for me, that's very, very critical.
So whatever it is, I mean, for you may be thinking that you have all the technology, but in the absence of electricity, what do you do?
For example,
if
the lights went off.
Yeah.
I remember one day we were in church and our meter caught fire.
Oh.
It wasn't that, I mean, the whole meter caught fire. So they have to put everything off. And we have an EPS that runs the service when there is no power. So, I mean, we're still on, but everything went off. Because I ran for more than 45 minutes and there was still no power.
Okay.
And then we still have to do until they put off the fire and then now ensure that the plant is on and all of that. I remember very well that evening I get home and a keyboard sent me a message. Also, that was amazing. Like, and I'm like, oh, for me, it didn't sound like anything strange had happened.
To have maintained the atmosphere over that period.
I'm like, oh, but we have sung on a school field without with just a microphone or even a megaphone to lead worship, to do that, to lead prayer. So what's really the point?
When you go for evangelism, there's nothing.
There is nothing. I remember preaching somewhere. The place I was preaching safe. It was named after a god.
Oh.
You are there, you are doing it. I mean, you have to make it work there.
Yes.
At that place, you have nobody playing strings for you to create any atmosphere. It's the people, they are watching your face. The thing I say in cry, they don't believe it. They are watching, they are waiting for a certain miracle. Maybe somebody walks, somebody is healed of something, and then they would do now, okay, the thing the guy is saying works.
You are now making sense.
But beyond that, the workman, so we must understand the basic building blocks.
Okay.
Don't lose sight of that. And I see a number of the guys who are doing that well today. Like, once you understand the basic building blocks, you have learned the music, you have understood the theory, and why, for example, a certain genre should go in a certain way, why I should process this music in this manner. Then it helps you. It helps you a lot. Because if that doesn't happen, even the conversation with who is handling what becomes problematic. You should be able to tell that, okay, at this point, for this song I have received, I need to pass it on to this person. It should be easy for you to tell because you have worked with these things and you now understand that, okay, it sits well if I gave this
This one
element
to this person.
if I give that element to this person. You have heard a song, because over time you know that such and such person works on that. Okay, I need this level of guitar works.
Okay.
Let me call him to do it for me. And then it works. But if it's all about technology, then you just cut you better cut and paste.
Yeah.
You know.
And
So we can't run away from it.
You are not involving people.
Yeah.
I mean, to the extent that they should be in whatever they are doing. It's now
They
just
must
about
know the process.
machines,
So,
yeah.
for example, I like what I mean, I can give many examples. For example, if you see what New Kind did with all of his team members, if you see what, even presently, if you see what Senku PK is doing with Peculiar People, I feel like he has a very critical intention to raise other music directors like himself.
Yes.
In fact, this year I got to work with one of them on a project in Kumasi. And when he called me and said, "Oh, the guy is coming from Peculiar Sound," I'm like, okay, that's amazing. And then he comes in and he's doing very well.
Okay.
In fact, there was a track he was supposed to do, he ended up doing, and it was nice because he's in a place where there is that proper tuition, that proper environment to grow. Not just, oh, I want to make the more since I export here at the end of the year, but no. But it's rich enough. For example, there are many times I've met, if you've seen Joe Metal in his band, more often than not, Joe is quite spontaneous in the approach.
So
it's not with a song. You have to be extremely mechanical to follow him what he's doing. And vocals. So you can't bring the vocals on stem because he might probably end up doing song 2 as song 4, and song 1 keeps going for a long time, or he came on stage and decided that even song 1 was not going to be song 1 anymore. But in all of that, everybody is prepared to flow in that space. And that is how they rehearse the process. That's how they go through the process. But it can't be that, oh, we just leave everything to just the technology. In fact,
let's talk a bit about ministry and music. So I don't know how this happens, but it just appears to be that if you were in the music ministry and you got a bit serious, your church just wears you the cassock. I mean, we've seen so many of these to but it goes without saying, I mean, that if you are very serious in especially the music ministry, then there's a calling ahead for you. How do you merge the two? Many people would think it's just that simple, but
so I think here's what's happening. Moses has received an instruction to build a tabernacle. He built it beautifully. The Bible says that he built everything according to the pattern that he saw. So Moses has not left anything from what he saw. But David built another tabernacle. And we are not expressly told that David also saw a pattern. But we do know that he also received that by prophecy, and he has also organized another pattern. And yet it is this tabernacle that in the New Jerusalem, in the new temple, we are talking about, not even the temple of Moses. Because I believe that David opened the key for how that ministry and what music does in terms of ministry. So he finds people who do this 24 hours consistently before the tabernacle to praise God. But watch what he does. In the selection of the people, he's selecting prophets. He's selecting seers. He's selecting people, Levites. He's selecting people who are trained on what Moses has done. So Moses has given, a lot of people are looking at the books of Moses as mere instructions, but Moses has given the entire pattern. What Moses has seen. Jesus says that I did not come to destroy their law. So what Moses has seen is what Jesus has become. Right? Moses has seen and has represented it
Yeah.
in types and in shadows.
Yes.
But Jesus comes to reveal
Very
fully,
vivid for us to all
very vividly
appreciate.
for us to appreciate.
Yeah.
So if a man does not understand what Moses has done, he has no business standing before others to bring worship, to bring praise.
Okay.
So David is finding people who understand what Moses has written,
Okay.
and they are the people he's bringing on board to become ministers of music.
Okay.
That is why you would find people who have become interested in doing music and doing it well in church transition to behind the pulpit easily, because if you are doing it well, you are doing it from a place that it is coming from God's word.
Okay.
For there is no other foundation that can be laid than that which has already been laid. If it is not this foundation, we are wasting everybody's time.
Okay.
So that's where it works for me. And I believe for every other person that has found that space, that is what is the process. You must find God's word, and that must be the anchor for what you do. If the music is just the anchor for what I do, then the music is all I would do. I will not practically transition into anything. But if it is God's word that is what anchors what I do, then God's word would become ultimately what I ought to do. And it will not just be in the music, it will be in every other aspect of it. So it will be easy to be pastoring from that point of view. So God's word, I mean, so when I hear guys talk about it, and when you see some of the guys complain about certain things, you realize that a lot of them are not truly giving themselves to God's word. Truly, like you see, there is a place where you'd find unless you are telling the musicians to pray, they are not praying, or you are insisting they study, they are not studying. You don't have any personal time to study God's word. You don't have any prayer. There's nothing for you. We show up in church. Oh, strings. Then you sort of create an atmosphere. We have a friend in the UK, Samuel Achamfuebwa. He's an engineer.
Okay.
And he was head of instrumentalist for pop choir when we were in first year. This is the testimony of other musicians about Achamfuebwa. They said, we all play, but when Suchi comes to rehearsal, it is like some angels came with him. That's what the other musicians would say about Suchi. And it was quite telling. He touched the same chords people are playing. When Suchi played them, it translated into something else. So if a musician can understand that, somebody will hit do I need to play that role now? Why did I even play it? For all you know, God wanted you to hit the second tom 3 times for somebody's deliverance in the congregation, and you missed it. You missed it like when the prophet told the king to hit the ground with the arrow, and he hit twice, 3 times and stopped. And he said you should have gone more than that. You would have overcome them. And God has given us tools, and we are not even understanding the spiritual atmosphere to know that, what God has granted unto us has the potency and the tenacity to change somebody's life in that regard.
I think because for most of us, we are still seeing the music as an expression of what we know, or what we have learned to come to know, but do not understand that there is a spiritual dimension to this whole thing.
It's way beyond just what you know. What you know is so that the Spirit of God can use what you know as a conduit to do. So God is going to use what you know. So God takes Moses. What does he know? He is skilled in the language of the time. So because of his skill in the language, he takes him and he uses him to pivot everything. He writes the 5 books of Moses. God takes Isaiah. Why is Isaiah writing so much? He's well studied. Why is Paul writing so much? He's well studied. So it is the skill you have that God will use ultimately. But that skill must be founded on his way and on his will. If not, you are wasting everybody's time. And sadly, we have many people in church who are very gifted. But because they are not grounded on God's word and on prayer, it is just an expression of the gift. Beyond that, we don't see the real transformation. But the people who are, you would realize that sometimes they are not, they don't need to be the most skillful singers, the most skillful musicians. But whenever they touch their instrument, whenever they use their voice, something happens to the congregation. And the people are listening to them.
Lumen sessions, discussing music directing with Pastor, Reverend, Senior Minister. I mean, so many names. Samuel Akresi. And we have had more than we thought we were going to have. I mean, this has been so insightful, and so much has been learned, and we have all been blessed. There is maybe we just need to go a bit into your personal music ministry for people to know what you've been up to and all of that. Can we?
Okay. So like we've done. I think a couple of years back, you asked me, "Do you just want to do church?
Yeah.
Or what do you want to do?"
Yes,
I mean,
because this is something I've stopped talking about for some time, but I realized that for many people doing gospel music, a lot of them at a certain point in time fail to appreciate their place in this whole thing.
Yeah.
So I was at a point getting to know what people were doing, and for some, I was encouraging them to stay where they are or go where the direction is going, because that is where they are going. I believe that some are called to be artists.
Yeah.
So you are the artist. Your albums are out there and all of that. I also believe that not everyone, regardless of how gifted you are and all the opportunities you have, may record albums always and all of that. But your calling would be to the church, in the sense that you are to empower church groups and all of that, choirs, sometimes even beyond your local church. And then, of course, there is that other group that has to do all the other maybe logistical stuff and all of that, and that is all part of ministry. Yeah. So you had so much. I had to ask.
Yeah. So I mean, we thank God for all of that. So in 2019, I recorded my first single album. Haven't recorded any single projects after that. Have worked on so many other things after that. Like you just said, in various capacities, even including from last year working with children, back to a children's group. I mean, and in the past 2 years, it's been an amazing journey doing that work, for instance. And personally, I found a lot of joy doing that. In fact, a couple of years ago, we were in prayer when the Lord spoke to me about children, and I never really thought, what am I going, like, because I don't have the opportunity oftentimes to go to the children's ministry. So I was wondering what I was going to do. And then by God's strange design, these projects came through. So we've been doing that. Hopefully end of year, early next year, we're recording again. But
the interesting part is that this is not even in your local church.
No, this is not in my local church. So we are doing things, a lot of things outside of church, helping our projects here and there.
Yes.
But essentially, this year, between last year and this year, we started deciding that we wanted to also push some work in church.
Okay.
So we started working on some projects in church, and we have already released 2 of those, and we have a whole album in session.
Okay.
To work on
with your church.
Yes, with
What's
the
the
church,
name?
Shekinah Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a whole album in process. So we are doing that whilst we are also preparing towards the team. The guys are waiting, like, we'll be there now, so we'll call Charlie Chairman where the things they like. So we have things in the oven, and it's like I keep telling some people, it's not even about like you have song. First of all, I learned this in a long time. When the Lord gives you a song, it's really to sing to him.
Mhm.
So we'll sing to him when others. So in church, what we do oftentimes is we've dropped the songs in church and we've sung them as part of praise and worship.
Okay.
And somehow they don't know that these are
Yes,
original
the
songs.
originals. Okay.
Then when we record them, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we didn't know.
No.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. So we are going through
But that helps
process.
you get a very original atmosphere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nobody is making anything up.
No. So we are going through that process a lot, and thankfully, like we have people who have, God has blessed us with very, very amazing guys in the team who are also doing very well.
Wow.
Like I have one young guy, like the guy can just write.
Oh.
You if you like give him a topic right now to go and write a song on, by tomorrow morning he's come with a song. Yeah, he's come with a song. He's that gifted. And I mean, musicians and stuff. So we said, okay, this will be our contribution to the local assembly.
Yes.
The idea is we want to let people understand that let's find purpose in what we do in our local assemblies.
Yes.
Let's find a way to ensure that we groom and grow everybody and help everybody come alongside. Yes. So we are doing that. I mean, are we going to do personal projects again? Like I said, yes, we are going to do that. But we in the next couple of months,
there's a bit of the personal in the local assembly as well.
There's a bit of personal. I mean, you are writing, you are directing, your influence is over the production and everything. So I mean, no two ways about that. We are doing that. We are doing that, and like I said, you can check out the music we've dropped on the Second Avenue platform, and we trust that people will be blessed by. We have interesting things coming up. Wow. We trust that people will be blessed by these things.
This has been Reverend Samuel Akresi. So much insight, so much experience, so much knowledge. I mean, and a lot of inspiration for those of us who are looking to serve well in the music ministry, especially as a music director. It's been Lumen Sessions. We hope to see you on the next episode once again. Always remember, this is unfiltered to get you inspired. Thank you.